Would you just do it already? Man, I didn't know you were such a pansy. Shane said, shaking his head looking away. What do you think is gonna happen? It's gonna be fine. But Shane, his little brother Josh protested. I heard you tell your friend, Jimmy, what would happen. I don't want to do it, Shane. I think Mom's gonna get mad. I don't want to get in trouble. She'll ground me for sure. Why don't you just do it? Come on, Shane. What she's gonna do to you, you're already grounded. So what if you get grounded? You don't ever go anywhere anyway. Josh looked down and studied the object in question, contemplating, weighing his brother's approval against the possible aftermath. He opened his mouth to speak, then thought better of it. After another moment, he dragged his eyes back up to meet his brother's. Then he furrowed his brow. No, I'm not gonna do your stupid trick. Just do it yourself. I thought you were supposed to be braver after you turned 12. Besides, I don't want to make Mom mad. Okay, Josh, whatever. Just know that I can now say that you're yellow. When I go next door to Mandy's house and she asked about you, I'll just have to be honest. Go ahead, see if I care. He said, and then he gasped at the last syllable of the blunder spelled out. Wait a minute. Did he care after all? Wait a minute. Did he care after all? The thought of Mandy seeing him in any negative light had him second-guessing everything. He decided to stick to his guns, but his big blue eyes betrayed him as he began to sag with nervousness. Shane cracked a sly grin. I thought you were gonna marry her someday. Shane, you just shut up about that. She's getting her license this summer. She'll probably be going out with all those older guys now that she can drive. She thinks that those guys are brave. Josh paused for a moment, scanning the floor from left to right and then back again, feeling his heart throb in his throat with every swallow. He jutted his chin out and he scowled at his older brother, as was his customary response when he began to feel cornered, defeated, as if his very will was involuntarily subjected by his brother. His thoughts swam to the image of Mandy and her smile, her laugh, the way she rests her hands on his shoulder as she greets him most any time they meet. Okay, fine, I'll do it. But you better tell Mandy that I'm brave. Oh, sure. I'll tell her everything. Josh raised the item and then placed his other hand on it and took a deep breath. Then he dragged his eyes once more to his brother before committing the act. Josh turned and tried to kick Shane, but his older brother was quicker and he hopped out of the way and then slapped Josh on the back of the head. That was awesome, Josh. What are you so upset about? Shane had said, taking a breath between laughs. A tear cupped in the bottom of Josh's eye. Stop laughing, I'm telling Mom. He blinked and the tear spilled out. Mom's going to be mad at me now, he said, wiping the tear with the back of his wrist. I don't think so, sucker. Don't you remember her saying she didn't want to hear any of our tattletaling anymore? I don't know why I listened to you, Shane. I thought you were supposed to care about people like me. Your little brother. I don't think you care about anyone, Josh said, turning away. He shuffled his feet a few steps and then, after using his right shoulder to wipe his eye again, he started to run. Shane's smile flattened as he began to feel the sting of Josh's last words. He bit his lip while one particular memory of his dad arose from the shadows of the recent past. His heart softened. Though it had been 11 months, he heard the words once again echo as if spoken only moments ago. Shane, you're the man of the house when I'm gone. You need to take care of your mother and your little brother, okay? I'm counting on you. I know you'll do fine. Shane wondered if his dad could see him right now in that moment. Would he be disappointed in me? He thought. Still too soon to spend any time thinking about his dad and how much he was missed. Shane inhaled hard and then thought he should find his little brother. 5 minutes later, Shane had found Josh in the attic. Items sprawled to his left and right, rifling through a chest which belonged to their dad. Shane walked somberly up to Josh and from behind placed a hand on his shoulder. Hey, I shouldn't have made you do, that. I'm sorry, and I'm sorry for laughing at you. He gave his little brother the once-over, ran through a few of their best times together and then felt himself smile, if only slightly. So, what do you got going on up here?" Josh stopped for several seconds and then lowered his face into both palms and began to weep. "I just miss Dad. He's not here to play catch with me anymore. I can't tell him the cool ideas that I have. Shane, he'll never see me drive or date a girl or get to see me grow up. He won't know who I am when I get older. He won't be there to help me buy a car or help me with my homework. I just wish I could hear him laugh with me one more time." Shane felt the sudden knot in his throat begin to swell, but determined to put it down. He laid his hands on either of Josh's shoulders and stood silently, purposing to say nothing. Josh turned and through damp, glossy eyes looked up at his older brother. "Thanks, Shane." He returned to the chest and began removing items once more. In the bottom of the chest was a small wooden box, maybe a cigar box. It was tucked between several filed manila envelopes and a small green crate nearly overflowing with old photos, most of which were slightly out of focus black and white portraits of people. Some close-ups and others depicting entire families, with either a lake or a house or a picturesque landscape in the background. Josh sat up on his knees, reaching down and lay hold of the small, interesting-looking box. He drew it out of the chest with wonder-glazed eyes swathing the ornate piece. The wood's finish had a slick, sheen that reflected like glass. Spanish words, elegantly scripted, were etched into all four sides. A small keyhole fastened across the front caught his attention. He tried to open the top, but the lid lifted merely a centimeter, then protested. He shook the box slightly up and down, realizing that there was weight to the box itself, but also a shifting mass inside which piqued his interest. Shane placed a couple fingers across the top, caressing it gently. "Whoa, that is really nice. Can I see it?" Josh handed it over carefully, and then immediately began digging for the key. "I wonder if this is even Dad's. It looks so old. The key has got to be in here. I bet you it's hidden somewhere in the wall of the chest, so someone could find it quickly. Have you tried looking there?" "No, but I will. Wait a sec, there's a small jewelry box I put over there. Check in that." Shane placed the box next to Josh's leg, and then stretched around behind him, reaching for the smaller, less interesting box. He lifted the lid and he gazed over several charms, some rings and a few coins and a small tethered felt sack. He stuck his finger in and widened the mouth of the little sack. He turned it up on its end and 3 things slid out of the pouch. A diamond ring, a single, solitaire oval diamond, and a small skeleton key. "Hey, I think I got it." He quickly grabbed the locked box and prepared to insert the key. Hesitating, however, he shot a look over to Josh, and then grinned excitedly. "No, you should be the one to do it. After all, you found it." Josh, taken aback, mouth drawn open, looked at the key in Shane's hand and shot his eyes to the box. His heart leapt. He then met Shane's eyes and smiled brightly. "Let's both do it. You turn the key in, I'll open the top, okay?" Shane's grin stretched into a smile that bore his perfect teeth. "Okay, are you ready?" He waited for Josh's nod and then slid the key into the keyhole. With the tender, clockwise turn of his wrist, the box made a small unhitching click. He gazed at Josh. Without raising his eyes once, Josh simply placed a thumb under the nearest slightly extended corner of the lid and he lifted it. The lid let out a small whine, which dissipated after it was halfway opened. What lay inside seemed to kill their sudden marvel for the look on their faces. Perplexed, Shane reached for the small dark bag of cassette tapes and lifted it up from its alleged entombment. He glanced at Josh, who shared his bewilderment. Inside the bag also lay 4 stacked sheets of paper, folded on neatly. Shane reached in and drew them out as well. Unfolding them, they set their eyes on words scribbled in chaotic fashion, strewn throughout all 4 sheets, front and back. Some words were names, some were fragments of sentences, but nearly all were crossed out with a single strike of ink. What unsettled him the most was the obvious shaking or quivering formation in some of the penmanship. After reading some of the words in fragments, he quickly folded the sheets together again. He shot Josh another glance and he said, I don't think we should be messing with this, Josh. Josh, without breaking his fixed gaze on the cassette tape, stated matter-of-factly, "Why, Rose? These things are needful. My soul has bled into them. That's final." And then ended the sentence with a growling, "Have I made myself clear?" Josh immediately broke contact with the tapes and looked questioningly over at his brother. Shane licked his lips slowly and then felt himself swallow hard. He centered his focus on Josh's eyes. He didn't realize it, but he had just inched himself a good foot's length away from his little brother. "Josh?" Josh answered, "I think I just had a dream. Did I fall asleep, Shane? What just happened? Shane, why are you looking at me like that?" "Oh my god, that is the freakiest thing that I've ever seen or ever heard, Josh," he said quietly but empathetically. "I'm pretty sure we weren't supposed to find these. I'm gonna lock it back up and we're never going to open it up again, okay?" Just then, Mandy stepped up into the attic. "Hey you guys, what are you doing up here? I was waiting downstairs for the last couple of minutes. Your mom said that you didn't know where you'd run off to and I thought I should check up here. Oh, and by the way, she sounds a little pissed. What did you guys do in the kitchen? Man, it's a mess." She spotted the chest after scanning the entirety of the attic. "Oh, cool, what's this?" Nothing, we were just putting all of this away," Shane said with a hint of urgency. She spotted the smaller ornate box. "Oh wow, this is incredible looking. What was in it?" Her eyes fell on the dark bag. She curled her lip into a bit of a snarl and then with one reach swiped the bag. "These?" She shot a puzzled look at Shane. "These were inside that." Shane looked away, pursing his lips. He then snatched the bag back with a curt, "Yes." "Man, Shane, what's eating you?" She spotted the folded sheets of paper and the chaotic writing. It hit her almost instantly. She gasped with excitement. "Do you know what these are?" "We're putting them away, okay? They're not important," Shane said, quickly growing impatient. "Take a chill pill, geez," she contended. "Let me just take a look before you put it all away, alright?" She fished out 4 of the 5 tapes and read the titles on each. A thrill enveloped her. "Let's listen to one. Look, this one says Session 5, Case 144, and this one says Session 1, Case 278. This one is hard to read. It looks like Case 319. Wow, no session. Maybe because it's the last one they ever did," she said with an eerie howl. She tossed the others back into the bag. "Let's listen to this one." Josh looked up at her and said, "I want to listen to it too." He stood and took it from her hand, to which Shane swept it out of Josh's hand. "We're putting it away, okay? This stuff shouldn't be played with. It's dangerous." Mandy gasped again. Something happened, didn't it? She jumped with exhilaration and started clapping. "Tell me what happened. What did you hear? Was it scary?" "Oh, I can't wait to hear it. Jasmine is going to be so jealous. She's totally into this kind of thing." "Okay, where do we play it?" Shane shook his head slightly. "Geez, why don't you take a chill pill, Mandy? We haven't heard anything yet, okay? And nothing happened." "Yes, it did," Josh chimed in. "I fell asleep or something and I had a dream. Shane said that it was the freakiest thing that he's ever seen." Mandy's jaw dropped. Her eyes darted from Josh to Shane repeatedly. She leaned in towards Shane, and in a whisper she asked, "Seriously? Something happened?" Shane's reluctance to answer told her everything. "Oh my god, I have to call Jasmine." She slid her thumb across the screen of her phone and then said plainly, "Call Jazz." The other end answered on speakerphone. "Dee, I already told you tonight is out. I've got homework. My parents will kill me if I leave the house. You're gonna have to wait until Saturday. Just please stop calling me. I've got recordings on cassette. And baby, they're hot. Bring a tape player," she said and then hung up. She grinned at the other two. Within seconds, her phone exploded into a hip-hop song neither of the other two recognized. Mandy clenched her fist and drew it down to her side with a victorious, Yes. She slid her thumb across the screen again and she answered. Get over here now. I'm at the Edwards in the attic. Before hanging up on Jasmine, 2 syllables escaped the speaker. The words "but and I." Nearly 15 seconds went by when Mandy's phone erupted again to the same tune. Mandy said not a word upon answering this time. She simply slid her thumb a 3rd time across the screen. 4 fantastically fast words flowed out. I'll be right there. And that was it. Phone call over. Mandy strutted towards Shane and slid a finger from his Adam's apple upwards to his chin. That's how it's done, she said nonchalantly. Josh gawked with an infatuated gaze if he ever had one. He slowly followed her thin figure from her face down to her sandaled feet, and back up and down her long, straight, light brown hair. He felt his pulse quicken throughout the ogling. You really don't know what you're getting yourself into, Shane said, cautioning her. Oh, you haven't seen anything yet. Jasmine is like a channeler or something. Her mom and dad studied this stuff for years before she was born. She's a natural-born medium. She offered Shane her sad puppy dog look, complete with a rolled-out bottom lip. Okay, you're the boss, Shane. We'll do what you say. But Jasmine, high school pomps and cheer, is on her way to your house right now. And oh my god, she is so into this. There's no telling how long she'll want to stay. She caressed his arm and added, or how many times she'll come back. Shane closed his eyes and he felt his teeth gritting. He glanced down at his watch. Well, it is still early. Alright, but we can't have my mom coming up here. I'm gonna go down and clean that mess up. And then I'll tell her we're doing a project together for Josh and that you and Jasmine are helping us with it. And then when I come back up here, the door gets locked and it stays locked. My mom would seriously freak if she knew what we were doing. After Shane ran downstairs, Mandy pulled out the crate of photos. She sat down Indian style next to Josh and began going through each one starting from the front. About halfway through, she came across several backgrounds she immediately recognized. Whoa, this is my house in this one. Oh my god, a bunch of these are from my neighborhood. I had no idea our homes are that old. I mean, the photos are black and white and everything. Oh, look at this one. There's a dark spot on the ceiling in the corner of the kitchen. And that's your house, Josh. Oh shit. Sorry, Josh, I almost let that one slip. Look, the same picture, the same pose, the same person but no dark spot. That's kind of eerie. Have you ever seen that dark spot in your kitchen? Josh nodded. Before my dad died, I think I was maybe 8. And what are you now, 10? A cute 10 at that, she said, elbowing him. You're gonna be a heartbreaker, oh my. Josh blushed and grinned, and then he found himself studying every freckle on her face as she pored over the remaining photos. A simple small knock echoed through the attic. Both sets of eyes leapt to the shadowy corner. They returned their gazes to that which previously held their attention. Suddenly a knock and a creak followed by the sound of possibly a stack of light linen falling over, or the whooshing sound a bedsheet makes when it's snapped in the air, and then allowed to settle all ghostly-like. Mandy stared at the corner for a long time, studying the darkness, and the way it swallowed the dim light from the single bulb resting above them. Her eyes fell on the outline of a figure against the wall, and she felt her heart jump upon the recognition. She reached up and she grabbed the bulb at its cord and socket and held it in that direction. The outline shifted with the room's readjusting shadows. She thought that it must have been the contour of the dresser with the box and the blankets on it. She released the bulb. It swayed back and forth, producing the effect of shadows moving closer to them and then farther away, in a perfect sequence with each pendulating sway. Somehow in her mind, the shadows tended to move a bit closer with each swing of the bulb, instead of steadying into a slower rhythm. She took Josh by the hand and said, I don't think we're alone right now. I think we need to go back downstairs. The feeling that they were being watched, studied perhaps collected, arose from seemingly behind her. From the left of the attic, not the rear this time, fluttered the sound of airy linens not necessarily falling, but being dragged or moved. In the stillness of her fear, from inches behind her ears, a whisper broke the silence. Oh, Rose. Chills ran down her backside as she dared not move while the voice remained a mere finger's reach in her mind's eye. Another knock from the corner echoed. The attic door slowly crept shut, without either of the two noticing. She peered down at Josh, who had a blank gaze towards her feet. She shook his hand. His eyes crept up their clothing and then stopped at her shoulders. "Josh," she managed to utter through her trembling. "We need to go downstairs, okay?" Josh instantly shot a glare at Mandy and said with a deep growl in a voice not his own, "Do I make myself clear?" He glanced at the light bulb and it exploded into shards, pieces shattering against the ceiling and walls, landing in the far corners of the attic. Heat immediately swelled upon her face as she felt violently pulled, or to be more precise, extracted, completely out of her sandals. The immense tug threw her out of consciousness. A moment later, a dim light pierced the darkness and Mandy began to step out from behind a box, limping and wiping at her face from the sting of the glass, feeling as if she'd just been rudely awakened by her mother to get up for school after a late night. Shane said, "Okay, I got a new light bulb in. We're about to run out. Oh, and that spot is back on the kitchen ceiling. Mom's kinda pissed." Jasmine stood aside. "Alright, let's try this again." We got really close. Everybody sat down. "Come on, D, you need to join us. Are you up to it? We've only ever gotten anything on this tape." "Josh, it's your turn. Are you ready? You'll probably get the best responses because you're the one that found it. Or it found you." Confused and peeking at her face though, Mandy scowled at the three of them for beginning the first session without her. She shuffled and limped her way to the other three and sat down Indian style. Jasmine tapped her fingers down next to her on the attic floor and whispered to Mandy, "Come sit next to me, D." Mandy slid over to Jasmine. "Your faces are all blurry. I can't see very well. My face is killing me. Can we do this later?" Josh looked up at Mandy, but almost right through her to the shadowy corner of the attic. "We're hot. Do you want me to ask anything or do anything different?" "Would you guys just stop for a minute?" Mandy demanded. "Something really creepy just happened. Josh and I were sitting here looking at the photos and I don't remember what exactly happened, but someone was in here with us. We need to get out of here. There's a strange presence. Can't you feel it?" And Jasmine responded, "Just do as you've been doing. But first, play that last part again. D, everything's gonna be okay." Shane pressed play and an echoed screechy voice in a male tone said, "Rose," and then followed by angry snarls, "Make myself clear." Mandy sat up. "That's him. Oh my god, shut it off, shut it off." A second segment played immediately after. It sounded like it were broken into segments and distant. It was a female voice which might have been put together to say any number of things, but to the best of their ability, they decided that it sounded like strange and present. Mandy started pointing at the tape. "See, I'm not the only one who feels it. Oh crap, you guys, just shut the freaking thing off. We're meddling." A sudden knock and a creak reverberated from the dark, shadowy corner. Now beginning to cry, Mandy stood up and then started backing away, shaking her head, arms held out in front. "Do you guys hear me? We're meddling with doors and things that shouldn't be opened." Half of a male's figure very slowly slid out from the shadowed corner. "My god, he's right there." Shane stopped the page, looked over at his shoulder in Mandy's direction and then glanced at Jasmine. She nodded. He pressed the record button and then forwarded a nod to Josh. Josh drew in a deep breath and then, in a news anchor fashion, stated, "This is EVP case 319, and this is our 132nd session." Caught completely off guard, Mandy stopped everything and froze, shooting an empty glare at Josh. Josh continued, "I know you're here. I can feel you, but there's something else. A strange presence in the attic with you." Mandy took a closer look at their faces. They seemed to morph strangely, perhaps aging. And Josh continued further. "Mandy, if you're in here, send us another sign. You disappeared in this attic 8 years ago. If you can hear us, please say something." Mandy felt herself begin to fade out of time, wither out of space. Josh's voice continued in the background. "Mandy, feel you, strange presence. Session 155. Stranger. Another sign.